There's no mistake about one thing, though. All I have to do to be myself is think about Musashi. You are wrong about Musashi. He's not a wicked man. Yes, yes, that's right, said the old woman with a slight snort. After all, he's the man you love so much you threw my son over for him. I shouldn't say bad things about him to you. Oh, it's not like that, isn't it? You do love Musashi more than Matahachi, don't you? Why not admit it? Otsu was silent, and the old woman went on. When we find Matahachi, I will have a talk with him and fix everything up the way you want it. But I suppose after that you will run straight to Musashi, and the two of you will malign us for the rest of your lives. Why do you think that? I'm not that kind of person. I won't forget the many things you've done for me in the past. The way you young girls talk these days. I don't know how you manage to sound so sweet. I'm an honest woman myself. I can't conceal my feelings with a lot of clever words. You know, if you marry Musashi, he will be my enemy. Ha ha ha. It must be annoying to massage my shoulders. The girl did not answer. What are you crying about? I'm not crying. What's that water falling on my neck? I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Stop it, it feels like a bug crawling around. Quit pinning over Musashi and put some strength into your arms. A light appeared in the garden. Otsu thought it was probably the maid who usually brought their evening meal about this time, but it turned out to be a priest. I beg your pardon, he said, stepping up onto the veranda. Is this the room of the Ho-Indian dowager? Ah, there you are. The lantern he held bore the legend Kiyomizudera on Mount Otowa. Let me explain, he began. I'm a priest from the Shiendo, up the hill. He put the lantern down and took a letter from his kimono. I don't know who it was, but this evening, just before sunset, a young ronin came to the temple and asked if an elderly lady from Mimasaka was doing her devotions there. I told him no, but a devoted worshipper answering that description did come occasionally. He asked for a brush and wrote this letter. He wanted me to give it to the lady the next time she came. I had heard that you were staying here, and since I was on my way to Gojo Avenue, I dropped in to deliver it. That was very kind of you, said Osugi cordially. She offered him a cushion, but he took his leave immediately. Now what? Thought Osugi. She unfolded the letter. As she read, her color changed. Otsu, she called. Yes, what is it? Replied the girl from the back room. There's no need to prepare tea. He's already gone. Has he? Why don't you drink it then? How dare you think of serving me tea you made for him? I'm not a drain pipe. Forget about the tea and get dressed. Are we going out? Yes, tonight we'll reach the settlement you've been hoping for. Oh, then the letter was from Matahachi. That doesn't concern you. Very well, I'll go and ask for our dinner to be brought now. Haven't you eaten yet? No, I was waiting for you to come back. You are always doing foolish things. I ate while I was out. Well, have some rice and pickles, but be quick about it. As Otsu started for the kitchen, the old woman said, It will be cold on the mountain tonight. Have you finished sewing up my cloak? I still have a little more to do on your kimono. I didn't say kimono, I said cloak. I put that out for you to walk onto, and have you washed my socks? The cords on my sandals are loose. Have some new ones brought. The orders came so fast, Otsu didn't have time to answer, let alone comply, but she felt powerless to rebel. Her spirit seemed to crouch in fear and dismay before this gnarled old harridan. Food was out of the question. In a matter of minutes, Otsugi declared she was ready to leave. Placing new sandals by the veranda, Otsu said, You go ahead, I'll catch up. Did you bring a lantern? No. Nitwit, were you expecting me to stumble around on the mountainside without a light? Go borrow one from the inn. I'm sorry, I didn't think. Otsu wanted to know where they were going, but did not ask, knowing it would provoke Otsugi's anger. She fetched the lantern and led the way silently up Sannon Hill. For all the harassment, she felt cheerful. The letter must have been from Matahachi, and this meant the problem that had vexed her for so many years would be solved tonight. As soon as everything has been talked over, she thought, I'll go to the Karasumaru house. I must see Jotaro. It was not an easy climb. They had to walk carefully to avoid fallen rocks and holes in the path. In the deep silence of night, the waterfall sounded louder than in the daytime. After a time, Otsugi said, I'm sure this is the place sacred to the god of the mountain. Ah, here's the sign. Cherry tree of the mountain god. Matahachi, she called into the darkness. Matahachi, I'm here. The trembling voice and face brimming with maternal affection came as a revelation to Otsu. She had never expected to see Otsugi overcome by concern for her son. Don't let the lantern go out, snapped Otsugi. I'll take care, replied Otsu dutifully. The old woman grumbled under her breath. He's not here. He's simply not here. She had made a round of the temple grounds, but made another one. He said in the letter I should come to the hall of the mountain god. Did he say tonight? He didn't say tonight or tomorrow or any particular time. I wonder if he'll ever grow up. I don't see why he couldn't come to the inn, but maybe he's embarrassed about what happened in Osaka. Otsu pulled at her sleeve and said, Shh, that could be him. Someone's coming up the hill. Son, is that you? Otsugi called. The man passed them without a glance and went straight to the back of the little temple. He returned shortly and stopped beside them, staring boldly at Otsu's face. When he had fast passed, she had not recognized him, but she did now. The samurai who had been sitting beneath the bridge on New Year's Day. Have you two just come up the hill? Asked Kojiro. The question came so unexpectedly that neither Otsu nor Otsugi answered. Their surprise was compounded by the sight of Kojiro's gaudy clothes. Pointing his finger at Otsu's face, he went on, I'm looking for a girl about your age. Her name's Akemi. She's a little smaller than you and her face is a little rounder. She was trained in a tea house and acts a little old for her age. Have either of you seen her around here? They shook their heads in silence. Very peculiar. Somebody told me she had been seen in the neighborhood. I felt sure she would spend the night in one of the temple halls. For all the attention he was paying to them, he might as well have been talking to himself. He mumbled a few more words, then left. Otsugi clicked her tongue. There's another good-for-nothing. He has 2 swords, so I suppose he's a samurai. But did you see that outfit? And up here looking for a woman at this time of night? Well, I guess he saw it was neither of us. Though she did not mention it to Otsugi, Otsu had a strong suspicion that the girl he was searching for was the one who had wandered into the inn that afternoon. What on earth could be the tie that linked Musashi with the girl and the girl with this man? Let's go back, said Otsugi, her voice both disappointed and resigned. In front of the Hongando, where Otsugi's confrontation with Musashi had taken place, they ran into Kojiro again. He looked at them and they at him, but no words were exchanged. Otsugi watched as he went up to the Shinendo, then turned away and walked straight down Sannin Hill. That man has scary eyes, Otsugi murmured, like Musashi. Just then her own eyes caught a shadowy movement and her bent shoulders jerked up. Ow, she hooted like an owl. From behind a large cryptomeria, a hand beckoned. Matahachi, murmured Otsugi, thinking it was very touching that he did not want to be seen by anyone but her. She called to Otsu, now 50 or 60 feet farther down the slope. Go on ahead, Otsu, but not too far. Wait for me at the place they call Chirimasuka. I'll be with you in a few minutes. Alright, said Otsu. Now don't go off anywhere. I've got my eye on you. You needn't try to run away. Osugi ran swiftly to the tree. Matahachi, it's you, isn't it? Yes, mother. His hands came out of the darkness and clasped hers as though he had been waiting for years to see her. What are you doing behind this tree? Mine, your hands are as cold as ice. She was almost moved to tears by her own solicitude. I had to hide, said Matahachi, his eyes shifting nervously. That man who passed here a minute ago, you saw him, didn't you? The man with the long sword on his back? Yes. Do you know him? Sort of. That's Sasaki Kojiro. What? I thought you were Sasaki Kojiro. Huh? In Osaka, you showed me your certificate. That was the name written on it. You said it was the name you had taken, didn't you? Did I? Ah, that wasn't true. Today, on my way up here, I caught sight of him. Kojiro gave me a bad time a couple of days ago, so I've been hiding to keep out of his way. If he comes back this way, I might be in trouble. Osugi was so shocked, words failed her, but she noticed that Matahachi was thinner than he had been. This and his agitated state made her love for him all the more. Made her love him all the more, for the time being at least. With a look that told him she did not want to hear the details, she said, all that doesn't matter. Tell me, son, did you know that Uncle Gon died? Uncle Gon? Yes, Uncle Gon. He died right there, on the beach at Sumiyoshi, just after you left us. I hadn't heard. Well, it happened. The question is whether you understand the reason for his tragic death and for my continuing this long, sad mission, even at my age. Yes, it has been engraved on my mind since that night in Osaka when you reminded me of my shortcomings. You remember that, do you? Well, I have news for you. News that will make you happy. What's that? It concerns Osu. Oh, that was the girl with you. Matahachi started around her, but Osugi blocked his way and asked reproachfully, where do you think you are going? If that was Otsu, I want to see her. It has been a long time. Otsugi nodded. I brought her here for the purpose of letting you see her. But would you mind telling your mother just what you plan to do? I will tell her I'm sorry. I treated her very badly and I hope she will forgive me. And then I'll tell her I will never make a mistake like that again. You tell her that too, mother, for me. Then what? Then it will be just like before. What will? Me and Otsu, I want to be friends with her again. I want to marry her. Oh, mother, do you think she's still? You fool, she dealt him a resounding slap. He staggered back and put his hand to his stinging cheek. Why, mother? What's the matter? He stammered. Osugi, looking angrier than he had ever seen her since the day he was weaned, growled, you just now assured me you would never forget what I said in Osaka, didn't you? He hung his head. Did I ever say a word about apologizing to that worthless bitch? How could you conceivably beg forgiveness from that she-monster after she threw you over and went off with another man? You will see her, all right, but apologize you shall not. Now listen to me. Otsugi collared him with both hands and shook him back and forth. Matahachi, head bobbing, closed his eyes and listened meekly to a long string of angry rebukes. What's this? She screamed. You are crying? Do you still love that tramp enough to weep over her? If you do, you are no son of mine. As she threw him to the ground, she collapsed too. For several minutes, both of them sat there and wept, but Osugi's bitterness could not stay submerged for long. Straightening up, she said, you've reached a point where you must make a decision. I may not live much longer, and when I'm dead, you won't be able to talk with me like this, even if you want to. Think, Matahachi. Otsu's not the only girl in the world. Her voice became calmer. You mustn't let yourself feel any attachment to someone who has acted the way she has. Find a girl you like and I'll get her for you, even if I have to visit her parents 100 times, even if it wears me out and I die. He remained sullen and silent. Forget about Otsu for the sake of the whole Indian name. Whatever you think, she's unacceptable from the family's viewpoint. So if you absolutely cannot do without her, then cut off this old head of mine. After that, you can do as you please. But so long as I'm alive, Mother, stop. The virulence of his tone made her bristle. You have your nerve shouting at me. Just tell me this. Is the woman I married to be my wife or yours? What a silly thing to say. Why can't I choose by myself? Now, you are always saying headstrong things. How old do you think you are? You are not a child anymore, or have you forgotten? But, well, even if you are my mother, you are asking too much of me. It's not fair. Their disagreements were often like this, beginning with a violent clash of emotions, a locking of horns in implacable antagonism. Mutual understanding was undermined before it ever had a chance to grow. It's not fair, Osugi hissed. Whose son do you think you are? Whose belly do you think you came from? There's no point talking about that. I want to marry Otsu. She's the one I love. Unable to endure his mother's ashen scowl, he directed his words to the sky. Son, do you mean that? Osugi drew her short sword and pointed the blade at her throat. Mother, what are you doing? I've had enough. Don't try to stop me. Just have the decency to give me the final blow. Don't do this to me. I'm your son. I can't stand here and let you do that. Alright, will you give up Otsu right now? If that's what you wanted me to do, why did you bring her here? Why tantalize me by parading her in front of me? I don't understand you. Well, it'd be simple enough for me to kill her, but you're the one she has wronged. As your mother, I thought I should leave her punishment for you to carry out. It seems to me you should be grateful for that. You expect me to kill Otsu? Don't you want to? If you don't, say so, but make up your mind. But, mother, so you still can't get over her, eh? Well, if that's the way you feel, you're not my son, and I'm not your mother. If you can't cut off that Hessie's head, at least cut mine off. The final blow, please. Children, Matahachi reflected, are wont to make trouble for their parents, but sometimes it is the other way around. Osugi wasn't simply browbeating him, she had thrust him into the most difficult situation in his life. The wild look on her face shook him to the core. Mother, stop. Don't do it. Alright, I'll do what you want. I'll forget about Osu. Is that all? I'll punish her. I promise to punish her with my own hands. You will kill her? Yes, I will kill her. Osugi triumphantly burst into tears of joy. Putting away her sword, she clutched her son's hand. Good for you. Now you sound like the future head of the House of Hoinden. Your ancestors will be proud of you. Do you really think so? Go and do it now. Otsu's waiting down there at Chirimasuder. Hurry. We'll write a letter to send back to the Shippoji with her head. Then everyone in the village will know our shame has been halved. And when Musashi hears she's dead, his pride will force him to come to us. How glorious. Matahachi, hurry up. You will wait here, won't you? No, I'll follow you, but stay out of sight. If Otsu sees me, she will start whining that I went back on my promise. That would be awkward. She's only a defenseless woman, said Matahachi, getting up slowly. It's no problem to do away with her. So why don't you wait here? I'll bring her head back. There's nothing to worry about. I won't let her get away. Well, you can't be too careful. She may be only a woman, but when she sees the blade of your sword, she will put up a fight. Stop worrying. There's nothing to it. Bracing himself, he started down the hill, his mother behind him, an anxious look on her face. Remember, she said, don't let your guard down. Are you still following me? I thought you were going to stay out of sight. Chirimazuda is farther down the path. I know, mother. If you insist on going, go by yourself. I'll wait here. Why are you hanging back? She is a human being. It's difficult to attack her when I have the feeling it's like killing an innocent kitten. I can see your point. No matter how faithless she has been, she was your fiancée. All right, if you don't want me to watch, go by yourself. I will stay here. He went silently. Otsu had first thought of running away, but if she did, all the patience she had exercised in the previous 20 days would come to naught. She decided to bear it a little longer. To pass the time, she thought of Musashi, then Jotaro. Her love for Musashi set millions of bright stars shining in her heart. As if in a dream, she counted the many hopes she had for the future and recalled the vows he had made to her at the pass at Nakayama on Hanada Bridge. Though many years might pass, she believed with all her heart that in the end he would not forsake her. Then the image of Akemi came to haunt her, darkening her hopes and making her uneasy. But only for a moment. Her fears about Akemi were insignificant in comparison with her unbounded confidence in Musashi. She recalled too Takuan saying that she was to be pitied. But that made no sense. How could he regard her self-perpetuating joy in that light? Even now, waiting in this dark, lonely spot for a person she did not want to see, her rapturous dream of the future made any amount of suffering bearable. Otsu, who is it? She called back. Hoinden Matahachi. Matahachi, she gasped. Have you forgotten my voice? No, I recognize it now. Did you see your mother? Yes, she's waiting for me. You haven't changed, have you? You look just the way you did back in Mimasaka. Where are you? It's so dark I can't see. May I come closer? I've been standing here. I'm so ashamed to face you. What were you thinking about? Oh, nothing in particular. Were you thinking of me? Not a day has gone by I didn't think of you. As he slowly approached her, Otsu felt a little apprehensive. Matahachi, did your mother explain everything to you? Uh-huh, since you've heard everything, she said, immensely relieved. You understand my sentiments, but I would like to ask you myself to see things from my viewpoint. Let's forget the past. It was never intended to be. Now, Otsu, don't be like that. He shook his head. Though he had no idea what his mother had told Otsu, he was fairly certain it had been intended to deceive her. It hurts me to have the past mentioned. It's difficult for me to hold my head up in front of you. If it were possible to forget, heaven knows I'll be glad to. But for some reason, I can't bear the thought of giving you up. Matahachi, be sensible. There is nothing between your heart and mine. We are separated by a great valley. That's true, and more than 5 years have flowed through that valley. Exactly, those years will never come back. There's no way to recapture the feelings we once had. Oh no, we can recapture them. We can. No, they are gone forever. He stared at her, stunned by the coolness in her face and the finality of her tone, asking himself if this was the girl who, when she allowed herself to reveal her passions, was like spring sunlight. He had the feeling he was rubbing a piece of snowy white alabaster. Why had this severity been hidden in the past? He recalled the porch of the Shippoji and how he had sat there with limpid, dreamy eyes, often for half a day or more, silently looking off into space as though she saw in the clouds mother and father, brothers and sisters. He drew closer and as timidly as he might have reached among thorns for a white rosebud, whispered, "Let's try again, Otsu. There's no way to bring back 5 years, but let's begin again. Now, just the two of us." "Matahachi," she said dispassionately, "are you imagining things? I wasn't talking about the length of time. I was talking about the abyss that separates our hearts, our lives. I know that. What I mean is that beginning right now, I will win your love back." Maybe I shouldn't say it, but isn't the mistake I made one almost any young man might be guilty of? Talk if you like, but I'll never again be able to take your word seriously. Oh, but Osu, I know I was wrong. I am a man, but here I am, apologizing to a woman. Don't you understand how difficult that is for me? Stop it. If you are a man, you should act like one. But there's nothing in the world more important to me. If you want, I'll get down on my knees and beg forgiveness. I'll give you my oath. I'll swear to anything you wish. I don't care what you do. Please don't be angry. Look, this is no place to talk. Let's go somewhere else. No, I don't want my mother to find us. Come on, let's go. I can't kill you. I couldn't possibly kill you. He took her hand, but she wrenched it away from him. "Don't touch me," she cried angrily. "I'd rather be killed than spend my life with you. You won't come with me?" "No, no, no. Is that final?" "Yes." "Does that mean you are still in love with Musashi?" "Yes, I love him. I'll love him throughout this life and the next." His body trembled. "That's the wrong thing to say, Osu. Your mother already knows. She said she would tell you. She promised we could talk it over together and put an end to the past." "I see. And I suppose Musashi ordered you to find me and tell me that. Is that what happened?" "No, it is not. Musashi doesn't have to tell me what to do. I've got pride too, you know. All men have pride. If that's the way you feel about me." "What are you doing?" she cried. "I'm as much a man as Musashi, and if it takes my whole life, I'll keep you from him. I won't permit it. Do you hear? I won't permit it. And just who are you to give permission? I won't allow you to marry Musashi. Remember, Osu, it wasn't Musashi you were engaged to. You are hardly the one to bring that up. But I am. You were promised to me as my bride. Unless I consent, you can't marry anyone. You are a coward, Matahachi. I pity you. How can you debase yourself like this? I long ago received letters from you and some woman named Oko, breaking our engagement. I don't know anything about that. I didn't send any letter. Oko must have done it on her own. That's not true. One letter was in your own hand and said I should forget about you and find somebody else to marry. Where's the letter? Show it to me. I don't have it anymore. When Takuan read it, he laughed, then blew his nose on it and threw it away. In other words, you have no proof, so nobody is going to believe you. Everybody in the village knows you were engaged to me. I've got all the proof and you have none. Think, Osu, if you cut yourself off from everybody else in order to be with Musashi, you will never be happy. The thought of Oko seems to upset you, but I swear I have absolutely nothing to do with her anymore. You are wasting your time. You won't listen, even when I apologize. Matahachi, didn't you just now brag that you were a man? Why don't you act like one? No woman is going to lose her heart to a weak, shameless lion coward. Women don't admire weaklings. Watch what you're saying. Let me go. You would tear my sleeve. You fickle whore. Stop it. If you won't listen to me, I don't care what happens. Matahachi, if you care about living, swear you will give up Musashi. He let go of her sleeve to draw his sword. Once drawn, the sword seemed to take control of him. He was like a man possessed, a wild light in his eyes. Otsu screamed, not so much because of the weapon as because of the way he looked. You bitch, he shouted as she turned to flee. His sword descended, grazing the knot of her obi. I mustn't let her escape, he thought, and started after her, calling over his shoulder to his mother. Osugi came racing down the hill. Has he bangled it? She wondered, drawing her own sword. She's over there. Catch her, mother, called Matahachi. But he soon ran back and came to a halt just before colliding with the old woman. Saucer-eyed, he asked, where did she go? You didn't kill her? No, she got away. Fool! Look, she's down below. That's her. There. Otsu, scampering down a steep bank, had to stop to get her sleeve loose from a branch. She knew she must be near the waterfall because the sound was very loud. As she rushed on, holding her torn sleeve, Matahachi and Osugi closed in on her, and when Osugi cried, "We've got her trapped now," the sound was right behind her. At the bottom of a ravine, the darkness loomed like a wall around Osu. Matahachi, kill her. There she is, lying on the ground. Matahachi gave himself over to the sword completely. Jumping forward, he aimed at the dark form and brought the blade down savagely. She-devil, he screamed. With the cracking of twigs and branches came a screeching death cry. Take this and this. Matahachi struck 3 times, 4, again and again until it seemed the sword would break in two. He was drunk with blood. His eyes spat fire. Then it was over. Silence ensued. Holding the bloody sword listlessly, he returned slowly to his senses, and his face went blank. He looked at his hands and saw the blood on them, felt his face, and there was blood there too, and all over his clothes. He blanched and grew dizzy, sick with the thought that each drop of blood was Otsu's. Splendid, son, you've finally done it. Panting more from exhilaration than from exertion, Osugi stood behind him and, leaning over his shoulder, peered down at the torn and battered foliage. How happy I am to see this, she exulted. We did it, my son. I've been relieved of half my burden, and now I can hold up my head in the village again. What's the matter with you? Quick, cut off her head. Noticing his queasiness, she laughed. You don't have any guts. If you can't bring yourself to cut off her head, I'll do it for you. Get out of the way. He stood stock still until the old woman started toward the bushes, then raised his sword and jabbed the hilt into her shoulder. Watch what you doing, cried Osugi as she stumbled forward. Have you lost your mind, mother? What? Strange sounds gargled from Matahachi's throat. He wiped his eyes with his bloody hands. I've killed her. I've murdered Otsu. And it was a praiseworthy deed too. Why, you are crying? I can't help it. Oh, you fool. You crazy, fanatic old fool. Are you sorry? Yes. If it hadn't been for you, you ought to be dead by now. I would have somehow gotten Otsu back. You and your family honor. Stop your blabbering. If she meant that much to you, why didn't you kill me and protect her? If I had been able to do that, Could there be anything worse than having a pig-headed maniac for a mother? Stop carrying on like that. And how dare you speak to me that way? From now on, I will live my way, the life I live my life the way I want. If I make a mess of it, that's nobody's business but mine. That has always been a failing of yours, Matahachi. You get excited and make scenes just to cause your mother trouble. I'll cause you trouble, alright, you old sow. You are a witch. I hate you. My, isn't he angry? Get out of the way. I'll take Otsu's hat and then I'll teach you a few things. More talk, I'm not listening. I want you to take a good look at that girl's head. You'll see then just how pretty she is. I want you to see with your own eyes, what a woman is like after she dies. Nothing but bones. I want you to know the folly of passion. Shut up. Matahachi shook his head violently. When I think of it, all I've ever wanted was Otsu. When I told myself I couldn't go on as I was, try to find a way to succeed, start out again on the right path. It was all because I wanted to marry her. It wasn't family honor and it wasn't for the sake of a horrible old woman. How long are you going to go on about something that's already finished? You would do yourself more good chanting sutras. Hail to Amida Buddha. She fumbled among the broken branches and dry grass, which were liberally sprinkled with blood, then bent some grass over and knelt on it. Otsu, she said, don't hate me. Now that you are dead, I have no more grudge against you. It was all a matter of necessity. Rest in peace. She felt around with her left hand and got hold of a mass of black hair. Takuan's voice rang out. Otsu, carried down into the hollow by the dark wind, it seemed as if its source was the trees and the stars themselves. Have you found her yet? He called, his voice sounding rather strained. No, she's not around here. The keeper of the inn where Osugi and Otsu had been staying wiped the sweat wearily from his brow. Are you sure you heard right? Quite sure. After the priest came from Kiyomizudera in the evening, the old lady left suddenly, saying she was going to the hall of the mountain god. The girl was with her. Both of them folded their arms in thought. Maybe they went on up the mountain or some place off the main path, said Takuan. Why are you so worried? I think Otsu has been tricked. Is the old woman really that wicked? No, said Takuan enigmatically. She's a very good woman. Not from what you told me. Oh, I just remembered something. What's that? Today I saw the girl crying in her room. That may not mean much. The old woman told us she was her son's bride. She would say that. From what you said, it sounds like some terrible hatred made the old woman torment the girl. Still, that's one thing, and taking her up into the mountains on a dark night is another. I'm afraid Osugi has been planning to murder her. Murder? How can you say she's a good woman? Because she is without a doubt what the world calls good. She often goes to Kiyomizudera to worship, doesn't she? And when she's seated before Canon with her prayer beads in her hand, she must be very close to Canon in spirit. I hear she also prays to the Buddha Amida. There are lots of Buddhists like that in this world. The faithful, they are called. They do something they shouldn't, go to the temple and pray to Amida. They seem to dream up diabolical deeds for Amida to forgive. They will quite cheerfully strike a man dead, perfectly confident that if they call on Amida afterward, their sins will be absolved and they will go to the Western paradise when they die. These good people are something of a problem. Matahachi looked around fearfully. wondering where the voice had come from. Hear that, mother? She asked excitedly. Do you recognize the voice? Osugi raised her head, but the interruption did not disturb her greatly. Her hand still grasped the hair her sword was poised to strike. Listen, there it is again. That's strange. If anybody came looking for Otsu, it would be that boy named Jotaro. This is a man's voice. Yes, I know, and I think I've heard it somewhere before. This looks bad. Mother, forget about the hat. Bring the lantern. Somebody's coming. This way? Yes, 2 men. Come on, let's run. Danger united mother and son in the twinkling of an eye, but Osugi couldn't tear herself away from her gory task. Just a minute, she said. After coming this far, I'm not going back without the hat. If I don't have it, how can I prove I took vengeance on Otsu? I'll be through in no time. Oh, he moaned with revulsion. A horrified cry sprang from Osugi's lips. She dropped the hat, half stood, staggered, and collapsed on the ground. It's not her, she screamed. She flailed her arms and tried to stand up, but again fell down. Matahachi jumped forward to look and stammered, What? See, it's not Otsu, it's a man. Beggar, invalid. This couldn't be, exclaimed Matahachi. I know this man. What? Some friend of yours? Oh no, he tricked me into giving him all my money, he blurted out. What was a dirty swindler like Akakabe Yasoma doing here, so near a temple? Who's there? Called Takuan. Osu, is that you? Suddenly he was standing right behind them. Matahachi was fleeter of foot than his mother. As he dashed out of sight, Takuan caught up with her and took a firm grip on her collar. Just as I thought, and I trust it was your loving son who fled. Matahachi, what do you mean by running away and leaving your mother behind? Ungrateful lout, come back here. Osugi, though squirming miserably at his knees, had lost none of her spunk. Who are you? She demanded angrily. What do you want? Takuan released her and said, Don't you remember me, Granny? You must be getting senile after all. Takuan, are you surprised? I don't see why I should be. A beggar like you, going where he pleases. Sooner or later you were bound to float into Kyoto. You are right, he agreed with a grin. It's just as you say. I was roaming about in Koyagi Valley and Izumi Province, but I came up to the capital and last night at a friend's house heard some disturbing news. I decided it was too important not to add on. What does that have to do with me? I thought Osu would be with you and I'm looking for her. Granny, what? Where's Osu? I don't know. I don't believe you. Sir, said the innkeeper, blood has been spilled here. It's still fresh. He moved his lantern closer to the corpse. A stony frown came to Takuan's face. Osugi, seeing him preoccupied, jumped up and started running away. Without moving, the priest shouted, Wait, you left home to clear your name, didn't you? Are you going back now with it more solid than ever? You said you loved your son. Do you plan to desert him now that you have made him miserable? The force of his booming voice wrapped itself around Osugi, bringing her to an abrupt halt. Her face distorted by defiant wrinkles. She cried, Swallow my family's name, make my son unhappy? What do you mean? Exactly what I said. Fool, she gave a short, scornful laugh. Who are you? You go around eating other people's food, living in other people's temples, relieving your bowels in the open field. What do you know about family honor? What do you know of a mother's love for her son? Have you ever once borne the hardships ordinary people bear? Before telling everybody else how to act, you should try walking and feeding yourself like everybody else. You strike a sore spot, and I feel it. There are priests in this world to whom I would like to say the same thing. I've always said I was no match for you in a battle of words, and I see you still have command of a sharp tongue. And I still have important things to do in this world. You needn't think the only thing I can do is talk. Never mind that, I want to discuss other matters with you. And what might they be? You put Matahachi up to killing Otsu tonight, didn't you? The two of you murdered her, I suspect. Stretching her wrinkled neck, Osugi laughed contemptuously. Takuan, you can carry a lantern through this life, but it won't do you any good unless you open your eyes. What are they anyway? Just holes in your head, fanny ornaments. Takuan, feeling slightly uneasy, finally turned his attention to the scene of the murder. When he looked up in relief, the old woman said, not without a touch of rancor, I suppose you are happy it's not Otsu, but don't think I've forgotten that you were the unholy matchmaker who threw her together with Musashi and caused all this trouble in the first place. If that's the way you feel, fine, but I know you are a woman with religious faith. And I say you shouldn't go away and leave this body lying here. He was stretched out there on the verge of death anyway. Matahachi killed him, but it wasn't Matahachi's fault. This Ronin, said the innkeeper, was a little peculiar in the head. For the last few days, he has been staggering around town, drooling at the mouth. He had a huge lump on his head. Displaying an absolute lack of concern, Otsugi turned to leave. Takuan asked the innkeeper to take care of the corpse and followed her, much to Osagi's annoyance. But as she turned to unleash her poisonous tongue again, Matahachi called softly. Mother, she went happily toward the voice. He was a good son after all. He had stayed to make sure his mother was safe. Whispering a few words to each other, they apparently decided they were not completely free from danger in the priest's presence and ran as fast as they could toward the foot of the hill. It's no use, murmured Takuan. To judge from that performance, they wouldn't listen to anything I have to say. If only the world could be rid of silly misunderstandings, how much less people would suffer. But right now he had to find Otsu. She had discovered some means of escaping. His spirits rose a little, but he could not really relax until he was sure she was safe. He decided to continue his search despite the darkness. The innkeeper had gone up the hill a while earlier. He came back down, accompanied by 7 or 8 men with lanterns. The night watchmen at the temple, having agreed to help with the burial, brought shovels and spades. Presently, Takuan heard the unpleasant sound of grave digging. About the time the hole was dug enough, someone cried, "Look over here! Another body. This one's a pretty young girl." The man was about 10 yards from the grave on the edge of a marsh. "Is she dead?" "No, just unconscious." The Urbane Craftsman. Until his dying day, Musashi's father had never stopped reminding him of his ancestry. "I may be only a country samurai," he would say, "but never forget, the Akamatsu clan was once famous and powerful. It should be a source of strength and pride to you." Since he was in Kyoto, Musashi decided to visit a temple called the Rakenji, near which the Akamatsu had once had a house. The clan had long since fallen, but it was just possible he might find at the temple some record of his ancestors. Even if he didn't, he could burn some incense in their memory. Arriving at the Raken Bridge over the lower Kogawa, he thought that he must be near the temple, for it was said to be located a little east of where the upper Kogawa became the lower Kogawa. His inquiries in the neighborhood, however, drew a complete blank. No one had ever heard of it. Returning to the bridge, he stood and gazed at the clear, shallow water flowing beneath it. Though it wasn't so many years since Munisai's death, it appeared that the temple had been either moved or destroyed, leaving neither trace nor memory. He watched idly as a whitish eddy formed and disappeared again. Noticing mud dripping from a grassy spot on the left bank, he concluded that it came from a sword polisher's shop. Musashi, he looked around and saw the old Nan Myoshu returning from an errand. Hunger of you to come, she exclaimed, thinking he was there to pay a call. Koetsu at home today. He will be glad to see you. She led him through the gate of a nearby house and sent a servant to fetch her son. After warmly welcoming his guest, Koetsu said, "At the moment I'm busy with an important polishing job, but later we can have a nice long chat." It pleased Musashi to see that both mother and son were as friendly and natural as they had been the first time he met them. He spent the afternoon and evening chatting with them, and when they urged him to spend the night, he accepted. The next day, while Koetsu showed him the workshop and explained the technique of sword polishing, he begged Musashi to stay on as long as he wished. The house, with its deceptively modest gate, stood on a corner southeast of the remains of the Jisoin. In the neighborhood were several houses belonging to Koetsu cousins and nephews, or to other men engaged in the same profession. All the Honamis lived and worked here after the fashion of the large provincial clans of the past. The Honamis were descended from a fairly distinguished military family and had been retainers to the Ashikaga shoguns. In the present social hierarchy, the family belonged to the artisan class, but insofar as wealth and prestige were concerned, Koetsu might have been taken for a member of the samurai class. He hobnobbed with high court nobles and had on occasion been invited by Tokugawa Ieyasu to Fushimi Castle. The Honami's position was not unique. Most of the wealthy artisans and merchants of the day, Suminokura Soen, Chaya Shijo, Shirojiro, and Haiya Shoyu, among others, were of samurai descent. Under the Ashikaga shoguns, their ancestors had been assigned work related to manufacture or trade. Success in these fields led to a gradual severing of connections with the military class, and as private enterprise became profitable, they were no longer dependent on their feudal emoluments. Although their social rank was technically lower than that of the warriors, they were very powerful. When it came to business, not only was a samurai status more of a hindrance than a help, there were definite advantages to being a commoner, chief of which was stability. When fighting erupted, the great merchants were patronized by both sides. True, they were sometimes forced to furnish military supplies for little or nothing, but they had come to regard this onus as no more than a fee paid in lieu of having their property destroyed during wartime. During the Onin War of the 1460s and 70s, the whole district around the ruins of the Jisoin had been razed, and even now people planting trees often dug up rusted fragments of swords or helmets. The Honami residence had been one of the first built in the vicinity after the war. A branch of the Arisugawa flowed through the compound, meandering first through a quarter acre or so of vegetable garden, then disappearing into a groove to emerge again near the well by the front entrance of the main house. There was a branch flowing off toward the kitchen, another toward the bath, and still another toward a simple rustic tea house where the clear water was used for the tea ceremony. The river was the source of water for the workshop where swords forged by master craftsmen like Masumune, Muramasa, and Osafune were expertly polished. Since the workshop was sacred to the family, a rope was suspended over the entranceway in the manner of Shinto shrines. Almost before he knew it, 4 days passed and Musashi made up his mind to take his leave. But before he had had a chance to mention this, Koatsu said, "We are not doing much to entertain you, but if you are not bored, please stay as long as you like. There are some old books and curios in my study. If you would like to look them over, feel free to do so. And in a day or two, I'm going to fire some tea bowls and dishes. You might enjoy watching. You will find ceramics almost as interesting as swords. Maybe you could model a piece or two yourself." Touched by the graciousness of the invitation and his host's assurance that no one would take offense if he decided to leave on a moment's notice, Musashi allowed himself to settle down and enjoy the relaxed atmosphere. He was far from bored. The study contained books in Chinese and Japanese, scroll paintings from the Kamakura period, ribbons of calligraphy by ancient Chinese masters, and dozens of other things, any one of which Musashi could happily have pored over for a day or so. He was particularly attracted by a painting hanging in the alcove called Chestnuts. It was by the Zen master Lian Kai. It was small, about 2 feet high by 2.5 wide, and so old that it was impossible to tell what sort of paper it was drawn on. He sat and gazed at it by the hour. Finally, one day he remarked to Koatsu, "I'm sure no rank amateur could paint the sort of pictures you paint, but I wonder if maybe even I couldn't draw something as simple as this walk." "It's the other way around," Koatsu informed him. "Anybody could learn to paint as well as I, but there is a degree of profanity and spiritual loftiness in Lian Kai's painting that cannot be acquired merely by studying art." "Is that really true?" Musashi asked in surprise. He was assured that it was. It showed nothing but a squirrel looking at 2 fallen chestnuts, one split open and the other tightly closed as if it wanted to follow its natural impulse and eat the chestnuts, but hesitated for fear of the thorns. Since the painting was executed very freely in black ink, Musashi had thought it looked naive. But the more he looked at it after talking to Koatsu, the more clearly he saw that the artist was right. One afternoon, Koatsu came in and said, "Are you staring at Lian Kai's picture again? You seem to have taken a great liking to it. When you leave, roll it up and take it with you. I would like you to have it." Musashi demurred. "I couldn't possibly accept it. It's bad enough for me to stay here in your house so long. Why, that must be a family heirloom. But you do like it, don't you?" The older man smiled indulgently. "You may have it if you want it. I really don't need it. Pictures should be owned by the people who really love and appreciate them. I'm sure that's what the artist would want. If you put it that way, I'm not the one to own a painting like this. To tell the truth, I've thought several times it would be nice to have it, but if I did, what would I do with it? I'm only a wandering swordsman. I never stay in the same place very long. I suppose it would be a nuisance carrying a painting around with you wherever you go. At your age, you probably don't even want a house of your own, but I think every man should have a place he can regard as home, even if it's nothing more than a little shack. Without a house, a person gets lonely, feels lost somehow. Why don't you find some logs and build a cabin in some quiet corner of the city? I never thought about it. I like to travel or to a lot of distant places, go to the farthest end of Kyushu and see how people live